FM.
From the intersection of clay and chemistries in Monrovia. Good evening and a warm welcome to Freedom Evening News Basket. 45-minute production of all of the latest news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. Today is Thursday, the 25th of January 2024. My name is Hagar Goda. I'm coming to tonight's edition of the news program. And in the top developments we're following, Liberian senators set the stage for senatorial by-election in Nimba County as Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn instructs the Senate Secretary to inform the National Elections Commission of the vacancy in the Liberian Senate. Former Liberian Vice President Rahama Tula announces her bid for conference presidency in the 2029 general and presidential elections in the country. Liberian senators suggest relevant committees for confirmation names of several individuals recently nominated by President Joseph Boakai in various positions of government in away from home. At least 43 people have been killed in 2 days of clashes in town in central Nigeria. Residents have told the BBC, saying there's a search for bodies continuing according to the BBC. The detail of the developments, other local and international stories, voices those behind the news, all line up on tonight's edition of the program. At this juncture, we cross over to the news cubicle where Thomas Gojo is seated to read for us the bulletin of news.
A pleasant good evening to you and good evening to everyone. Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn has expressed hope that Liberia will continue to pursue the path of true reconciliation and national unity in the interest of the country and its people. According to VP Kuhn, as Liberians strive to enhance the nation's place among the community of nations, Liberians should not forget that most importantly, the country should be built on a peaceful manner. He noted that several of the nation's democracy was tested through the presidential and legislative election, recognizing that though the elections were not void of attending challenges, Liberian exerted a character of resilience in testament to their belief that the ideas and democracy of the country should remain compact. The former Lima County Senator called on all of the leaders of the country to now perform their collective responsibility with a deep sense of patriotism and understand that the true patriot of their political power are the people. As such, the welfare of Liberians must continue to be focused in terms of state development agenda. He noted that Liberians are demanding a drastic change in leadership and are yearning for accountability and responsibility for the rule of law, and they are seeking opportunities for empowerment and investment and expecting that they, as leaders, will strengthen the nation's relationship with international partners. The Liberian Senate has forwarded to 8 relevant committees the names of several individuals recently nominated by President Joseph Boakai in various positions of government. In a communication to the full tenor of the Liberian Senate Thursday, the Liberian leader expressed hope that those nominated will be speedily confirmed by members of the Senate as a means of ensuring a smooth running of the government. Reading the President's communication Thursday in plenary, the Assistant Secretary of the Senate, Genevieve Massaquet, named Boyman Kamara as Minister of Finance, Development and Planning, Sylvester Gibley as the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Greco Coleman, Inspector General of the Liberian National Police, and among others. The communication further named Senge as Director of the Executive Protective Service, Madam Sarah Besto Yanti as Foreign Minister, and among others. At the same time, the President of the Liberian Senate, Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn, has instructed the Secretary of the Senate to inform the National Elections Commission for the vacancy in the Liberian Senate. The VP Kuhn instruction comes in the wake of concern from Masurado County Senator Abraham Darius Dillon, stressing the need for the Senate to act in line with Article 37 of the Liberian Constitution. Article 37 states that in the event of vacancy in the legislature caused by death, resignation, exposure, or otherwise, the presiding officer shall within 30 days notify the Elections Commission thereafter. It followed that the Elections Commission shall not later than 90 days thereafter caused by election to be held, provided that where such vacancy occur within 90 days prior to the holding of general elections, If failing the vacancy shall await the holding of such general election. The Lima County senatorial vacancy comes following the election of former Senator Jeremiah Kumo as Vice President of Liberia in the 2023 general and presidential election. Former Vice President Joe Howard Taylor has announced her bid for the country's presidency in 2029, responding to caution about her active engagement in political activities on the closing argument. Taylor noted that she had not gone through all the leadership experiences and tests in terms of running the country. The former Liberian vice president believes that she can still impact the country in many ways. She further indicated that because of the Coalition for Democratic Change defeat in the 2023 election, she is now the political leader of the National Patriotic Party and emphasized that Stella Berry is given a year before standing up either as president or vice president. On the marriage of the CDC, Taylor disclosed that she does not know if the NPP as a political party remains in the coalition because the agreement was to go in the presidential election and hope that they could win in other ways. At the same time, the national chairman of the former ruling National Patriotic Party, Anthony George Norman, on Wednesday disclosed that the party will feed a candidate for the presidency in 2029. Norman said never again will the party lose its identity on the ballot, adding that they want all of the steps that were provided to the NPP in the coalition, which show that they have strength in national elections across the country. The plenary of the House of Representatives has voted to return to the executive the draft 2024 national budget on February 15, 2024. The plenary took a decision Thursday based on the communication submitted by Margibi County District 3 Representative Ellen Atorre. In the communication to the plenary, Atorre stated that she requested that the 2024 fiscal budget be sent back to the executive for realignment. According to her, based upon observation, the budget will need to be aligned with the agenda for the current government. The Margibi County District 3 representative also noted that due to the significance of the 2024 budget, the budget should be sent to the executive for proper adjustment and alignment for the forward march of the country. The Ministry of Finance Development Planning in December of 2023 submitted to the 54th National Legislature the draft national budget in terms of US 625 million 57,000 for the fiscal year 2024. The Alcopolis could not add upon the instrument due to the limitation of its statutory minute, which ended early January preceding the inauguration of the 55th National Legislature. The head of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights has identified the culture of impunity and lawlessness as an element that undermines the progress of the country. Consider Dempster Brown, according to our digital correspondent, said past government were reluctant to set up war crimes court or special court and called on the Bwaka-led government not to undermine the establishment of a war crime court in the country. He said in establishing the court in the Liberian National Bar and the INCER as institutions they are willing to work in moving the process forward. He said the Act of 2005 gives the INHCR the right to advise the government on issues of human rights, stressing that the present government should not operate within sympathies. He added that corruption is an enemy to society and violations of the rights of citizens, noting that the people must be held accountable for their actions over the years. The head of the subcommittee on the joint presidential transition team has justified poor management of the inauguration ceremony of President Joseph Boakai. According to Madam Miata Famule, though she was appointed, the committee was never in control of any budget from the government for the ceremony. Famule noted that it is unfair for some lawmakers on Capitol Hill to blame the subcommittee for the poor management of the inauguration ceremony. The head of the subcommittee on the joint presidential transition team indicated that a proposal about both the GSA and the legislature for the usage of the pavilion was not welcomed and accepted by the legislature. Meanwhile, despite challenges during the conduct of the program, Madam Famune has taken responsibility for the disorderly act and poor conduct of the inauguration of President Joseph Boakai. She, however, apologized to Nigerians for the embarrassing experience on Monday at the inauguration ceremony of Liberia's 26th President Joseph Boakai. An employee of SRB Bank has signed at its cleaning office has been arrested and brought to court for alleged stealing of over 300,000 United States dollars and over 21 million Liberian dollars. Defendant John Mayon was charged for theft of property, misapplication of injustice property, criminal conspiracy, and among others. Defendant John Mayon, according to our judicial correspondent, was held culpable of fraud during investigation with the amount in question. Police investigation further revealed that the transactions were between 2021 to 2023, whereas as we filed the complaint against the cleaning officers John Mayon. The investigation established that there were several transactions from businesses and customers where defendant John Mayon convened and intentionally kept checks on a 3 working days grace period and it expired. Our judicial correspondent further said that defendant Mayon compromised the interests of the bank with Charles Blaman, the owner of Trust Management Construction, Marine Sikri, owner of the John Sports Bar and Restaurant, Cooper Monuma, and among others. House Speaker Councillor Fonaki Kufa has announced the appointment of additional members on key committees that will further strengthen the legislative activities in moving the governance of the country forward. The Grand Crew County District 2 representative expressed confidence in the appointed official, stating that he believes that the appointed committee members will play a crucial role in shaping the advancing legislative of activities of the country and stands to benefit Liberians across the country. According to the Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, the dedication and expertise of those appointed will contribute to the overall development and progress of the nation. The Speaker emphasized the importance of collaboration and collective efforts in achieving the legislative goals set forth by the House of Representatives. Those appointed on the committee include the Chair on Ways, Means, Finance Development, Dixon Sibo, the Chair of the Judiciary, Marcus Thomas, Chair of Public Accounting and Expenditure, Clarence Gar, Chair on Maritime, Frank Safoko, others, and Chair on National Security, Musa Hassan Beriti, the Chair on Investment and Concession, Mike Jure, Chair on Mines, Energy, Natural Resources, Eugene Colley, and among others. The leadership of the University of Liberia Faculty Association is calling on the UA administration to halt the resumption of academic activities until their 5-count plans are addressed. A release issued Thursday offer call on the UA administration to settle the arrears owed to all part-time lecturers of the association and institute reform of payment for their part-time colleagues as agreed within the existing memorandums of understanding. Offer also called on the state-run university headed by its president, Dr. Julius Awolu Nelson, to complete the signing of all part-time contracts before the commencement of any academic activities, which is expected to begin on the 31st of January 2024 in accordance with the year academic calendar. The release emphasized that offer leadership led by President Idam Jonin will not return to classes until the year administration reform all monies deducted from employees for insurance while the scheme is being suspended. The offer recounted that the year administration may, in line with the Ministry of Finance, reach out to the leadership in pleading for time and committing to pay their colleagues beginning on Monday, January 15, 2024. Such offer has not been done. President Joseph Boakai has received a donation of firefighting equipment from the International Association of Fire Chiefs for the use by the Liberian Fire Service. Making remarks during the presentation ceremony in his rehab residence, President Boakai lauded Butler for what he called his kindness and shows solidarity for his administration. He appealed to Butler to ensure that he assist in the Liberian National Fire Service in an act of improving the fire service department of the country and combating fire issues across Liberia. Butler earlier assured President Boakai of his organization readiness to work with the Liberia firefighters in the area of capacity building and among others. Staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs under the banner, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Workers Association, have blasted the outgoing Foreign Minister Marcel Sakimuya administration for what they term as deliberate marginalization and disregard for professional services at the ministry. The workers in a press conference held on Thursday noted that under the past administration, they were faced with many challenges, including lack of transportation, medical insurance, poor working environment, as well as low salary incentives, retirement, and death without benefits. Reading a statement on behalf of the Workers Association, the president, Banan Christina Wolba, noted that the past administration was seriously troubling for them due to intimidation faced by some members of their senior management. The Star Wars president Fowler indicated that their experiences at the Ministry on Kimuya were not favorable due to poor and selfish decisions of past administrators at the expense of the worker. According to Hall, the poor leadership, especially at the center of a ministry that holds the nation's diplomacy, is the result of a lack of knowledge and experience of what diplomacy should be and how the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should be operated. And Liberia Medical and Dental Council chairperson Dr. Benito Andrews has expressed the organization's willingness to welcome individuals seeking to strengthen the system but emphasize the importance of proper credential. Speaking of joining outside the civil law court in Monrovia, that Andrews disclosed that upon assuming her role a year ago, she inherited a case involving Dr. Cooper and the Liberia Medical and Dental Council. Dr. Cooper, who applied as a medical death uh, investigator from the US, has submitted an application stating that he was a forensic pathologist, leading to scrutiny in the institution's credentials committee. Dr. Andrew explained that the committee requested additional proof of Dr. Cooper's qualification, and his lawyers have been presenting credentials in the ongoing legal dispute between the Liberia Medical and Dental Council and Dr. Rockefeller Copperwell. That's it for the bulletin of news. It's back to you, Keka Gona, for the continuation of Freedom Evening News Basket.
Many thanks to Thomas Kujo Rolak for the news bulletin. It is a regular feature on Freedom Evening News Basket. Kojo will return later on. The top developments we following. Former Liberian Vice President Joao Howard Taylor declares her bid for the country's presidency in the 2029 general and presidential elections in the country. And away from Liberia now, away from Liberia, at least 43 people have died in 2 days of clashes in a town in central Nigeria. Residents have told the BBC. Let's bring you the voices of those behind the news, beginning with this development. Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn has expressed hope that Liberia will continue to pursue the path of true reconciliation and national unity in the interest of the people of the country. According to VP Kuhn, as Liberians strive to enhance the country's place among the community of nations, Liberians should not forget that the most important ingredient for nation building is peace. He noted that the survival of the nation's democracy was tested through the presidential and legislative elections, recognizing that though the elections were not void of attendant challenges, Liberians exhibited a character of resilience in testament to their belief in the ideas of democracy.
I owe a debt of gratitude for the new capacity to the Liberian people who have sleep to make this change possible. Over the last few months, the survival of our nation's democracy was tested through a competitive presidential and legislative election. While these elections were not void of attending challenges, our people exhibited a character of resilience in testament to their belief in the ideas of democracy, peace, and national development. Let me congratulate all of you for a hard-fought campaign and welcome our newly elected senators who have joined us to continue the legacy of service to the Liberian people. Today, our nation has once again ushered in its second successive post-war democratic transition from one government to another. These transitions are marks of our country's preparedness for democracy and development. During the conduct of our elections and peaceful transition of state power, we have as a nation demonstrated our commitment to peace and the credibility of our democratic aspiration institutions. I believe the ultimate winner in these elections are the people of Liberia who are the true custodians of our peace and democracy. As we commence our deliberation, we must perform our collective responsibility with deep sense of patriotism.
At the same time, Vice President Kuhn has lauded international partners civil society organization, non-governmental organization, and other groupings who continue to work to protect the country's democracy and contribute to the growth and development of the country.
Permit me to see this opportunity to express profound thanks and appreciation to former President George Malia and my predecessor, former Vice President Joel Howard Taylor, for their stewardship of our beloved nation over the last 6 years. Honorable Pro Tem, distinguished senators, ladies and gentlemen, this first section of the 55th National Legislature is not only historical because it summarizes the constitutional responsibility of the 55th National Legislature, but it also set the platform for the emergence of a new era of a smooth political transition which enhances our nation's democratic credentials.
His Liberian Vice President Jeremiah Kun there speaking. The Liberian Senate has forwarded to its relevant committees the names of several individuals recently nominated by President Joseph Boakai in various positions of government. In his communication to the pro tem of the Liberian Senate Thursday, the Liberian leader expressed hope that those nominated will be speedily confirmed by members of the Senate as a means of ensuring a smooth working of the government. Reading the President's communication Thursday in plenary, the Assistant Secretary of the Senate, Genevieve Masakwe, named Boema Kamara as Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Sylvester Grispe as Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Gregory Coleman as Inspector General of the Liberian National Police, among others.
Liberia submitting nominees for confirmation and consideration. First nomination, January 23, 2024, Senator Mami Kamala, President for temporary of the Liberian Senate, Chapter of Building Monroe. Dear Madam President for temporary, I am pleased to submit here with foreign nominations pending Senate confirmation for appointment government. One, Mr. Boema Escobar, Minister of Finance and Development Planning. Two, Mr. Sylvester M. Grispe, Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. Three, Mr. Gregory Coleman, Inspector General, Liberian National Police. Four, Mr. Sam Gay, Director of the Executive Protective Service. Yes, I would really appreciate that these be given every direct confirmation by the Senate to ensure smooth transition in government. On regards to CLA, President, Second Communication, January 24, 2024, Senator Dominica Lawrence, President for temporary of the Liberian Senate, Capitol Building, Monrovia, Liberia. Madam President for temporary, I'm pleased to submit here with the following nominations pending Senate confirmation for appointment in government. Madam Sarah Besson, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. J. Alexander, Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Kami Mudak, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Jaso Jala, Minister of Education, Dr. Louis Koto, Minister of Health, Mr. Gopal Jala, Commissioner General at Revenue Authority, Mr. Ibrahim Kuman, Director, Drug Enforcement Agency. I would greatly appreciate when these will be given direct confirmation by the Senate to ensure smooth transition in government. I regard sincerely Joseph Boakai, President. Mr. President.
Meanwhile, following the reading of the President's communication, Bon County Senator Prince Moi offered a motion sending the President's communication to the Senate relevant committees for action.
Communication, one of the pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished senators. Having listened to Senate communication on the President of the Republic of Liberia nominating officials of government, I move if I can obtain a second. Communication read be received and that the nominee is subject to the different committees responsible, and that those committees will report to this plenary for plenary action. If I can receive a second.
Still at the Liberian Senate, the President of the Liberian Senate, Vice President Jeremiah Kun, has instructed the Secretariat of the Senate to inform the National Elections Commission of a vacancy in the Liberian Senate. VP Kun's instruction comes in the wake of concern from Montserrado County Senator Ibrahim Dillon, stressing the need for the Senate to act in line with Article 37 of the Liberian Constitution. Sorry, we can lay our hands on that, except we hope to bring it to in our subsequent newscast right here. To this development now, House Speaker Councillor Funati Kova has announced the appointment of additional members on key committees that will further strengthen legislative efforts and governance within the legislature. The Grand Crew County District 2 representative expressed confidence in the appointed officials, stating that he believes that the appointed officials will play a crucial role in shaping and advancing legislative initiatives that benefit the people they serve. According to the Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, the dedication and expertise of those appointed will contribute to the overall development and progress of the nation.
But we know we need some chairs and co-chairs for the sake of consistency. If we repeat those names, let's determine that it's surplusage. The Committee on Executive, Honorable Emmanuel Dan, Chair, Honorable Samuel Enders, Co-Chair, Honorable Priscilla Cooper, Member, Honorable Sam Brown, Member, Honorable Siapa Poto, Member, Honorable Emmanuel Yard, Member, Honorable Collins Gisi, Member. The Committee on Foreign Affairs, Honorable Charles Wombe, Chair, Honorable Richard Nabekum, Co-Chair, Honorable Netta Gay, Member, Honorable Austin Taylor, Member, Honorable Johnson Williams, Member, Honorable Michael Thomas, Member, Honorable Sekou Kane, Member. The Committee on Judiciary, Chair, Honorable Michael Thomas, Co-Chair, Honorable Jerry Yobo, Member, Honorable Clarence Guy, Member, Honorable Romeo Kuya, Member, Honorable James Collette, Member, Honorable Sumoke Mulva, Member, Honorable Fode E. Famule. The Committee on Ways, Means, Finance, and Development Planning, Honorable Dixon Sibo from Newtown, Chair, Honorable Ellen Akobre, Co-Chair, Honorable Alex Noah, Member, Signing, Honorable Sam Jala, Member, Omi, Honorable Nathaniel Bawi, Member, Friend, Honorable Dorothy Igia, Member, Nimba, Honorable Wese Feka, Member, Cape Mount, Honorable Jacob Devi, Member, Grand Chair, Honorable Julie F. Weir, Member, Lofa, Honorable Luther S. Collins, Papolu, Member, Honorable J. Marvin Cole, Bond, Member, Honorable Johnson S. N. Williams, Senior, River G, Member, Honorable P. Majure, Maryland, Member, okay, Honorable Matthew Joe Bassett, Member, Order and Administration, Chair, Honorable Josiah Marvin Cole, Co-Chair, Honorable Abu Banan Kamara, Honorable Member, Honorable Jerry Yamba, Member, Honorable Priscilla Cooper, Member, Honorable Julia, Member, Honorable Alex Noah, Member. The Committee on Public Accounts and Expenditure, Honorable Clarence Guy, Chair.
He's the Speaker of the 55th National Legislature, Councillor Fonati Kofa. They're naming members on various committees at the lower house. The time is climbing up to 19:30 Greenwich Mean Time. If you're just joining us, a reminder that you're listening to 45-minute news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. Stories making news on today's edition of the program. Liberian Senate to set the stage for senatorial by-election in Nimba County as Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn instructs Liberian Senate Secretary to inform the National Elections Commission of a vacancy in the Liberian Senate. Former Liberian Vice President Joe Howard Taylor announces her bid for the country's presidency in the 2029 general and presidential elections in the country. Liberian Senate forwards to its relevant committees for confirmation names of several individuals recently nominated by President Joseph Boakai in various positions of government, and away from whom at least 43 people have died in 2 days of clashes in a town in central Nigeria, residents have told the BBC. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with more developments on the program. Thanks for rejoining us. The head of the Independent National Commission on Human Rights has identified the culture of impunity and lawlessness as elements that undermine the progress of the country. Councillor Dempster Brown, according to our judicial correspondent, said past governments were reluctant to set up a war crimes code or special code and called on the Buakai administration not to undermine the establishment of a war crimes code or special code. He said in establishing the code, the Liberian National Bar Association and the INHCR are institutions that should form part of the process.
What the commission observed is that the lawlessness in the society is too much, and we have been speaking against lawlessness. Lawlessness, culture of impunity. These are, elements that undermining the progress of this country. Because the Human Rights Commission is the advisor to the President on human rights issues. Act that created the Commission in 2005 gave us the authority to advise the President on human rights issues. During the Civil War, people died. Even I was talking, my mother died. It killed my mother. There are people who in the government today that are undermining the establishment of war crime code in the past administration. Even the Elling, the Weir, all of them were reluctant to even talk about war crime code. We have to call his attention. We have to advise him on that. He must set up a war crime code. And what we advise him on is that he can contact the National Bar Association and the Human Rights Commission. We can set up the mechanism. We can have other special code or war crime code. The two institutions can come up with it. So we are calling on Waka not to listen to anybody. It should not operate in sympathy. Those who commit crime in this society must be punished. In fact, corruption is enemy to the society. Corruption is a violation of the rights of the citizens. People dying because they don't get food to eat. So what he needs to do now is to put his feet in the ground and make sure that those who committed crimes or committed crime in the society must be punished.
He's the chairman on the Independent National Commission on Human Rights, Councillor Dempster Brown there speaking. The head of the subcommittee on the Joint Presidential Transition Team has identified the poor management or justified the poor management of the inauguration ceremony of President Joseph Boakai. According to Madam Mianta Famule, though she was appointed, the committee was never in control of any budget for the government for the ceremony. Madam Famule noted that it is unfair for some lawmakers of Capitol Hill to blame the subcommittee for the poor management of the inaugural ceremony.
But for everyone or most people to put it all on my head, I think that is unfair. It's unfair. And then leaders at the legislature want to question me. Like I said, where were they? They were the ones who wanted oversight, and Mayor Bogot was fanning with the newspaper. They were fanning, and I knew they were uncomfortable, and I knew they were looking left, right. The only person that I really felt sorry for was my Senator James Spiney. I saw him, and I laughed. I said, good for you. And you won't show off. I would have had you in an air-conditioned environment where the sound would be perfect. Everything would be perfect. 1,000 of you in a comfortable space when we provide. No, y'all wanted to show off. We went in search of the venues. I recommended the Centennial Pavilion. That was the plan I presented to the JTPP. There were those who had decided that it was not to be. When I presented that proposal, I was reminded by the legislature that they had oversight for the inauguration. There was a stage when I realized I was not in control. My sister Mary Brough received the funding for the upliftment of the Capitol, the preparation of the Capitol and the events. So I went and approached Madam Brough. Madam, tomorrow is the day. Look at this state. What happened to this? You are GSA. It is your responsibility to put things into place when they are official and national occasions. I can't accept excuses from you. The place was not ready. You saw when we started cleaning. So, hey, you want to put it on me, but it will not stick.
Meanwhile, despite the challenges during the conduct of the program, Madam Famule has taken responsibility for the disorder and poor conduct of the inauguration of President Joseph Boakai. She, however, apologized to Liberians for the embarrassment experienced on Monday at Liberia's 26th president inauguration.
Who's to blame? Hey, the buck stops with me. We do apologize, and I'm sure it won't happen again. Actually had no control, was to simply throw in the towel and just leave it. I could have preserved my own reputation. I'm not afraid of taking the responsibility of a failure. I'm not afraid of that because we can all fail at something. How was I supposed to know that the government security that control the entire process in terms of security, how did I know that government EPS officers would stand at gates and just allow people to walk in, invitation or no invitation? Or you didn't see that? You are not aware? From the very direct entrance, that very direct entrance, people walked in and out, including the Grand Prix sellers, to the situation of water. I came out of the hospital on the 20th, Saturday, and one of the orders from my doctor was to consistently drink as much water as possible because I was quickly dehydrating. So I went to the capital with water for me, but on arriving at 10 minutes, I realized it was hot. So, of course, I turned.
Nyata Famule there, she's the head of the subcommittee on the Joint Presidential Transition Team, speaking when she appeared at the Ministry of Information regular press briefing. Still ahead of the news is our regional developments, but this story will set the pace for our regional news. Staffers at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs under the banner Ministry of Foreign Affairs Workers Association have blasted the outgoing Minister Maswa Kimian for what they term as deliberate marginalization and disregard for professional service at the ministry. The workers in the press conference held on Thursday noted that under the past administration, they were faced with many issues, including a lack of transportation, medical insurance, poor working environment, as well as low salary incentives, retirement, and death without benefits. Reading a statement on behalf of the Workers' Association, the president, Madam Kristanan Wablo, noted that the past administration was seriously troubling for them due to intimidation faced by some members of the then senior management team.
The leadership of Mufawa took office in June of 2023, close to the time of our national electionary period. We were confronted with many challenges to include lack of transportation, lack of medical insurance, poor working environment, low salary and incentives, retirement, and death without benefits. In the face of intimidation from some members of the senior management team, we still managed to advocate and put forth the plight of the Workers' Association. We gathered the courage to communicate the plight of the staff to the administration. Our advocacy had not yielded many results because we refused to dance to the tune of the administration against the staff welfare. We reported to our people the feedback from our meetings with the administration, and our people advised us to hold on until the elections were over. Fortunately, the elections are now over peacefully, and the newly elected national leadership have been inducted. We have returned to official business. Our first engagement with the members of the National Legislature was our engagement with Senator Darrell Dillon, Senate Committee Chair on Foreign Affairs. And that meeting was held on January 17, 2024. Senator Dillon gave us his undivided attention as we explained to him some of the plights we are faced with at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We want to appreciate him for giving us audience on a very short notice. We had a fruitful discussion about the decent future of the employees at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, both home and abroad. First thing we would like to address is the recent disregard to the leadership of by our then bosses planning the GON National Inauguration Program. It should be noted that any program planned and
been executed from the angle of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has to consider in reference the representation of the workforce.
She's Christiana, that's the president of the Workers' Union at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Taking us back to Thomas Kojo Rulak at this time for our regional news.
At least 43 people have died in 2 days clashes in a town in central Nigeria. Residents have told the BBC, saying the search for bodies continues. The road over Cattle Park, the violence in Plateau State, where there are fights of ethnicity and religious tensions within the area. One man in Madugu town told the BBC how his 62-year-old brother had been killed in his home, which was then set ablaze. As I speak to you, his 6 children are still crying. We have just buried him with another 14 bodies, he told the BBC. Plateau is where Nigeria means a Muslim-dominant people in the north and the largest Christian south of many continue to clash with mixed reaction. Resident in Manduguri, which is 74 kilometers, 45 miles southeast of the state of the capital, Jos, are mined from Muslim and the Fula background, clashing with Muslims. The Fulani businessman Omar Fofana was at home when the troubling incident erupted on Tuesday afternoon, his brother told the BBC. Well, Hika, that's it for the foreign news.
Well, folks, on that note, that's how we'd like to draw on the curtains on tonight's edition of the news. Before we take leave of you, let's remind you of stories that made headlines on today's edition of Freedom Evening News Basket. Liberian Senate to set the stage for senatorial by-election in Nimba County as Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn instructs the Senate Secretary to inform the National Elections Commission of a vacancy in the Liberian Senate. Former Liberian Vice President Joa Howard Taylor announces her bid for the country's presidency in the 2029 general and presidential elections. Liberian Senate forwards to its relevant committees for confirmation names of several individuals recently nominated by President Joseph Boakai in their position of government. And away from home, at least 43 people have died in 2 days of clashes in a town in central Nigeria, residents have told the BBC. Thanks to you for your listening role. Thanks to our writers, reporters, editors, and contributors, and all those who helped in making tonight's edition of the program a success. Anthony Stevens, Sada Control ably coordinated the sound aspect on tonight's edition of the news program. Thomas Kojo Rulak was here with the news bulletin, inclusive of our regional developments. For and on behalf of the entire team, my name is Hagar Gonda. This news presentation has been proudly sponsored by Crime Stoppers Liberia and was relayed on Hard Work Radio in Papa District, Grand Cape County. Good night.